Welcome to this lesson about requirements and prerequisites. First, we will talk about the development tools that we will use during this course. In this course, we will be using the following development tools. Visual Studio Code as an IDE. It will be our primary development environment. If you don't have it, install the latest version available. If you don't have it, of course. If you have it, I think any version should do. Then we'll have Postman. This is to interact with the public APIs that we will be developing. So most of the functionality of our application will be exposed as a REST API. We will be testing these APIs using Postman. Of course, the OpenAI APIs, we will not call them using Postman. We will use Node.js SDK, as you will see in the next section. Third, we will use Node.js. We will be building our Node.js application to communicate with the OpenAI models. So if you don't have it, install the latest version. Other than that, I think if you have it, any version should be okay. Now we'll move to the required skills for this course. To make the most out of this course on OpenAI API for Node.js, the following skills are required. Good command of JavaScript. All the code we will write will be in JavaScript. Particularly, a strong understanding of objects and promises is essential, as we will be working extensively with JavaScript to create our application. Then a basic Node.js knowledge is also expected. Familiarity with Node.js basics is expected, as we will be building a Node.js application to integrate with the OpenAI API. Then you need to have basic knowledge of Express framework. Having a basic understanding of the Express framework will be beneficial, as we will convert our Node.js app into Express server for creating JSON APIs. Now you will need to know only the basics of Express. Finally, knowledge of REST APIs and HTTP. Understanding RESTful APIs and HTTP request response concepts is necessary, as we will expose our applications as REST APIs. Now, when we call the OpenAI APIs, we will use the SDK, so you will not need the knowledge of REST APIs and HTTP for that part. But when we write our functionality, we will expose it as a REST API, and that's where the knowledge of REST APIs and HTTP is required. Knowledge of HTML and CSS, this is optional. We will not be writing HTML and CSS code. Even JavaScript in the browser, we will not be writing code there. Now, while not mandatory, having a basic understanding of HTML and CSS will be helpful when working with the front-end integrations. However, students will not be required to write code in these languages. Now we will talk about OpenAI API pricing and free credit. It's important to note that OpenAI APIs are not free, and users will be billed based on token usage. We will talk about token in the next section. However, when signing up, users can get a free credit of $5 now to use within the first 3 months of usage. This credit is likely to cover the cost of the course, as the API cost is really cheap and affordable. Yet keep in mind that the availability of the free credit may be subject to being on a paid plan with OpenAI. Finally, in this lesson, we will talk about the development approach. In this course, we will follow a structured development approach to explore the capabilities of OpenAI API for Node.js. Let's walk through the steps we will talk. In step 1, we will be experimenting with Node.js. Initially, we will experiment with calling the OpenAI APIs directly from Node.js using the SDK without running Node.js as a web server. we will execute the Node.js code from the command line to understand the basics of OpenAI interactions and data handling. So in this part, we will just experiment with the OpenAI APIs using Node.js. Step 2, creating REST APIs with Express. We will convert our applications into web apps and expose their functionalities as REST APIs using the Express library. We will test these APIs using Postman. So this is the second step we will be doing. The third step will be generating web pages with ChatGPT. So in the final phase of each application, we will take a unique approach to create a web page that accesses the APIs that we exposed in step 2. Instead of writing code manually, we will leverage the power of ChatGPT to generate the page for us. We will define a prompt to describe the desired web page and feed it to the ChatGPT through the OpenAI web UI, allowing the AI model to generate the code for us. This fascinating approach showcases how AI can streamline web development and enhance productivity by automating certain tasks. So step 1 will be to experiment with Node.js from command line. Step 2, we will expose our functionality as a REST API and test using Postman. And in step 3, we will generate the code for the web page using ChatGPT. Thank you.